This week, I am going to try to build a puppet. I made a really crappy mock-up, just we'll see how it goes. I'm newer to sewing. Whoa. And brand new to puppet building. I've been a puppeteer in the past. Hey. But never made one. Are you familiar with Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street?
Never heard of them.
I'm going to try to build Bert's head because the idea is I'm going to do an act where I'm going to be half Bert, half Ernie.
Or Bernie, if you will.
So there's got to be a Bert puppet head coming out of like my shoulder, and half of my costume will be Bert and the other half will be Ernie. Split costumes like this kind of picture. I'm going to have a puppet head that I can interact with.
You're woke.
Oh. I found a pattern online that is what somebody came up with, what they think is close to what the pattern would be for Bert's head. Oh, not that. There we go. I've never quite done something like this, so it's gonna be interesting.
Welcome to my show. Oh, a spectacular TV show.
Okay, first time officially making a puppet. Here we go. I've got this pattern right here that I traced from my computer desktop, and then I wanted to enlarge it without having to go pay money to get it printed out. So I expanded it by 2 inches on every side. Probably not exactly like the pattern was meant to be.
We'll see how it goes.
Justin of Just Puppets gave me a bunch of scrap foam that I can use, so I didn't have to spend any money on the foam, so that's really exciting. I've got all kinds of foam to pick from. I'm gonna rummage through this and see what I want to use. Got some new glasses.
Aww.
The next thing I'm going to do is trace out the pattern onto the foam. Bert head I'm making is going to be, like I was saying earlier, is going to be a part of a new act I'm working on. It's been a while since I've made a new act. It takes a lot of energy. A lot of the first, I don't know, 96 hours of coming up with a new act are just pure chaos and frustration of laying down on your couch and existential crises. That sounds very dramatic, but it feels that way in the moment. That is the first trace out. Turn it over. And I'm gonna trace this side. If you're looking for professional puppet building, this is not the video. It was fun, right? Do you like trying new things? I do, for the most part. To repeat the same thing on the other side. Obviously, next thing would be to cut it out.
Cut it out. Quit it. Come on, knock it.
Different angle of what this is looking like right now. And now that's gonna be the mouth, and I'm gonna cut out all those darts. So now that I have both my pieces of foam, you are supposed to glue the darts together, not the mouth though. So just glue the seams of the darts together with, I'm gonna use this Wellwood contact cement. I'm supposed to use it in a well-ventilated area. And then I will put this on. Does this do anything? It's not sticking together now, so I'm going to let it sit for a while, a couple hours, see if that does it, so then I can stick the darts together of the foam. Okay, so I've been sitting for about an hour, and I was able to stick the darts together, and I can stick the 2 foam pieces together. That looks decent, right? I need to figure out the mouth plate inside, so I took some foam from my pattern, traced around, and I got, this is roughly the shape, this will be my pattern, and I'm gonna go find something sturdier, hopefully like plastic, where I can then trace this onto the plastic to be part of his mouth. Okie dokie, I found some plastic and I'm going to trace out the mouth plate 2 times. And I am going to space these about 1/4 inch apart. Yeah, and then it'll almost be time to add the red felt to the mouth grip, the mouth. Didn't show the whole process here because I figured that'd be pretty boring for all of you. So here I am though, just to let you know, adding contact cement to the plastic and then tracing around the felt. And then after the cement gets tacky, then I'll be able to just stick it on there for the mouth. And I used a sponge to dab it so it doesn't seep through as much. Here I am tracing over where the mouth is on some fleece. This fleece would end up being my pattern for the puppet. And I also pinned around the head so I know where the seam lines will be and how big the pattern needs to be, and cutting out where the mouth is because those will be glued around the mouth. While I work on this puppet, I wanted to introduce you to my cats. So, right here we got Chubby. I'm gonna try to pick him up real quick. Come here. Nope. We have 4 cats. He is a good cuddler. He loves my blanket. Ow! He bit me. Well, around the corner, we have Norbert. This is Izzy, the only girl of the lot. We found her as a stray, and she was a really friendly stray, and she's actually the mom of Norbert. This is Nemo. Alright, so during my cat introduction, I had been tracing around where I had pinned the fabric and it had created darts. And so now I have a basic pattern of the fabric for my puppet head. Only I was extremely confused because something did not seem quite right. So I sat here in despair for several minutes. Well, I finally moved on from that moment, and this whole part was kind of a blur. It was kind of confusing, but I'm tracing onto some tissue paper a pattern for the fabric I'll be using for the head. It was kind of a long process where I was kind of winging it and a little unsure if I was doing it right, but just bear with me because I get there. Let's see, so what do I need to do next? I need to glue this on and start making the eyes and the nose and the unibrow. Okay, so I found a pattern for the nose online and just kind of winged it by eyes, just by my eyeballs, and stuffed it with some foam and sewed it up. Some round felt eyes and a black sparkly unibrow made out of craft foam. Okay, so apparently if you take a cat brush to this yarn, it turns the yarn from being chunky to super wispy. The ears that I made as well. Here's a view of a rod that I used attached to a knee pad for the shoulder apparatus for the puppet, and me connecting 2 shirts for Bert and Ernie.
There you are, Bert! Alright, this is the final reveal. I'm really excited with the way it turned out. I debuted it last night in a performance and it went over really well. Yeah, I worked on this a lot as well. I bought 2 different shirts and then cut them in half and obviously sewed them together, but the puppet was the longest process. I also had some pants that I split in half. I had a lot of fun with this. I had no idea how it was going to turn out or if it was going to turn out well, and there are some things that I would have done a little differently with Bert's head. But overall, for my first puppet, I'm really proud of it, and I'm really excited about this costume. I hope to wear it out to different cons. I think it'd be really fun.
Well, thank you so much for watching Cater Tot's Spectacular Television, especially if you made it this far. Your views or comments or just being there means a lot, so I appreciate you. Have a great week.